Guzma's the boy who beats you down, steals your girl, and smiles at you. And you would love it.
Pokemon Ranger, I choose you!
What's up, mighty boys and girls, it's your Ranger Boy here, and the swag has finally arrived in the anime with episode 115, Emperor of Destruction Guzma! Oh, so badass. I really can't wait to tell you more about my boy. But first, quick rating of last week's episode. This is the rating of this really generic Ultra Beast episode, which honestly, I don't give a fuck about, besides the Beware going Ultra Instinct scene. Anyway, I don't care about, because I want to talk about him. So let's put that aside, grab some popcorn, grab some cookies, and let's do this. So how does the debut of my favorite Pokemon villain of all time starts? Actually, not that bad. We start off with Ash training his new Z-move, Corkscrew Crash. Oh my god, Ash finally training a new Z-move? Damn, so long. How does that new Z-move look like? Well, it looks like a drill. No, seriously, it's just a drill. You could say that Pikachu is drilling all kinds of wall. Not your wall. Never your wall. Thanks to all that drilling, even Sophocles feels like using Z-move. I mean, hey, we all can dream. But that dream is quickly interrupted by Cringy Oak, who tells the boys and girls about Kukui making a huge announcement, which turns out to be him announcing the first ever Alola League. Yay! If it wasn't for the games in the opening, I would be a little bit more excited, but in my opinion, it's still nice. Anyway, the more interesting thing about this is that he doesn't necessarily tell specific rules, like required number of Pokemon, or that you have to do grand trials beforehand, and in my opinion that's important, because that leads to basically everyone being able to participate. Not only Ash, Kiawe and Gladion, but the anime also considers the likes of Lana, Lily, Marlo, Sophocles and even freaking Team Rocket for potential participants. Oh wow, I have a bad feeling about this league. But thank God for the official debut of my boy Guzma, including a really cool rap intro, which really cheered me up for 3 reasons. First, his voice actor is the same guy who voices Someoka from Inazuma 11, aka my favorite Inazuma 11 character, Dragon Crush! Secondly, he speaks English. That's life. That's life. That's life. And third, after hearing details about the Alola League, he decides to head towards Melemele Island to destroy, in his opinion, this joke called the Alola League. So it's more than clear that there will be a clash of attitudes between my boy and Ash, since Ash doesn't really see the Alola League as a joke and therefore starts training right away. Even Team Rocket are infected by the Alola League fever and they also want to train, until they get interrupted by the Team Skull badass boss, the man himself, who quickly finishes them off screen. Sorry Team Rocket, maybe you shouldn't take part in the league. But the rampage of the Emperor doesn't stop there, because as soon as he arrives at the Pokemon school, Kukui is all like, oh, so you wanna battle me? And Guzma answers like a boss. I'm not going to battle you, I'm going to destroy you. Oh snap! That's like Gohan back then against Boo. I'm not going to battle you, I'm going to kill you. Oh wow. But yeah, Guzma doesn't really see the purpose in neither the Island Trials nor the Alola League to crown the strongest trainer, since in his opinion, he is the strongest trainer. And instead of proving that during the league, he wants to settle that with Kukui right now. But Ash to the rescue, who challenges Guzma to a Pokemon battle instead. And since Ash's behavior really reminds him of Kukui, Guzma accepts the challenge. And so it's on. And honestly, wow, this was a rather one-sided battle in favor of the Team Skull leader. On the one hand, every attack that Guzma's Golisopod did, like First Impression, Pin Missile, and especially Poison Jab, damaged Ash's Pikachu severely, while all of Pikachu's attacks, including Thunderbolt and his brand new Z-move, didn't seem to damage Guzma's Pokemon at all. So when it seemed like that Ash would get one of his most devastating defeats in Sun and Moon history, to the surprise of Guzma, Golisopod returned back to his Pokeball, which means that it activated Emergency Exit, an ability which only can be activated if Golisopod took major damage. Very interesting outcome, and I also like that the anime didn't reveal that it's actually an ability, but instead Guzma just told all of them the excuse that his Pokemon got bored by Pikachu, and because of that it went back to his Pokeball. After mocking Ash some more with his weakened Pikachu, Team Skull even tried to convince Ash to abandon Z-moves and instead join Team Skull, which of course he refused. The boss even takes some more jabs at the Alola League by calling it a schoolyard fight between weaklings. Oh my god! No he didn't! 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 But after Kukui's remark of calling Guzma a guy who always runs away, especially from island challenges, Guzma at first doesn't seem to care at all, but then later on punches the wall out of pure anger, and that's how the episode ends. So in my opinion, a very interesting episode in many aspects. So let's go straight into the ratings. What can I say about the story? One thing is very clear here, the story was character driven and carried by one man and one man only, my boy Guzma. In my opinion, this, together with Gladion's debut, might have been the best debut in the Sun and Moon anime. You guys know that Guzma is one, if not my favorite villain of all time, so I was really scared that Sun and Moon might mess him up the same way they messed up so many other characters with the comedy and the facial expressions. But Guzma basically just gave me a slap in the face for even thinking that somebody could ruin him. Everything about him was great to watch. His behavior, his charisma, his attitude, and his awesome Pokemon battling skills with all the cunning, dominance, and ruthlessness. I'm so glad that Sun and Moon didn't pull out the comedy shtick with him, and instead they stuck to the formula of adapting his game personality into the anime. Applause, Sun and Moon. Really, you deserve applause. I also have to give major props to the Ash vs Guzma battle itself, since the psychology of this match was brilliant. The pure display of overwhelming dominance of Guzma, and with every move he did, Ash got more and more into trouble. And after Ash used his Z move early on, the battle got even more intense, because then Ash didn't have his Z move, aka the get out of battle card, in his hands, and therefore had to solely rely on his skills alone. And even though Ash at first glance seemed to be totally hopeless against Guzma, it actually turned out that Spot was damaged, or else Guzma wouldn't have been surprised that his Pokemon used his emergency exit ability, which indirectly showed that Ash can keep up with Guzma. Excellent story writing and psychology through battle. Last but not least, I loved how they ended the episode, with Guzma first seemingly not caring about Kukui's remark, only to show some real emotions at the end. But with all the praise I had for this episode, I have to state my one big issue with this episode, which is the Alola League announcement. On the one hand, it's a good thing because we finally get what we anticipated for such a long time, but on the other hand, the way they announced it made me really worried about the Alola League itself, that really everybody is able to participate, and the anime even considers the likes of Lily, Marlo, Softcleese, and even Team Rocket into the league. In my opinion, that is a big misstep, because first of all, it makes the Alola League rather underwhelming, since none of them have a full team of 6 Pokemon, and therefore the Alola League probably turns out to be some kind of Pokemon League hybrid instead of an intense Pokemon League. And secondly, in my opinion, that also undermines the meaning of the Island Trials, because honestly, what is the purpose of the Island Trials and the Grand Trial if everybody can take part in the league instead of just the guys who are the strongest and actually prove themselves against the Kahunas? I don't know, man. I really hope that the potential of the Alola League will get better, but as of right now, I'm really not excited for the Alola League at all. So even though the Alola League announcement and its circumstances left a really bittersweet taste in my mouth, Guzma's sheer endless amount of charisma and personality really saved the day. 8.5 out of 10. What can you say about the focus? Emperor of Destruction Guzma is the title, and honestly, you couldn't have titled an episode more perfectly than that. Guzma was front and central station of the episode, and he alone carried the episode with his display of personality. 10 out of 10. What can you say about the animation? Quite honestly, the animation was rather weak today. The main focus was the Ash vs Guzma battle, and I was rather surprised that they didn't pull off all the stops. Some animation sequences have been done with freeze frames of Pikachu getting hit instead of actual animation, and we also couldn't really see much from Spot since it was also defending a lot. The first impression attack though, wow, that was awesome. Also, the corkscrew crash Z move is honestly not really my cup of tea, and is basically just Pikachu spinning around until it transforms into a drill. In my opinion, not really special, and definitely one of the rather weak Z moves in the series when it comes to animation. So 7 out of 10. At the end of the day, this episode scores a 8.5 out of 10. And even with the rather lackluster future of the Alola League, I still recommend this episode because Guzma was amazing. Anyway guys, I really hope you enjoyed this review. Glad to be back with some regular content, and just like always, I see you guys in the comments down below.